Okay, so we're gonna begin from Ois Dalid, top of page 3.
Recording in progress.
According to this, we could say the Amiris HaKadosh Baruch Hu Moshe Kisis as Reish Bnei Yisrael, that when Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu that you will raise the head of the Bnei Yisrael, Shnei Inyanim, there are two components in this. Sheyisav Yagbia Es Reish Bnei Yisrael, that he will raise up, elevate the level of the head of the Bnei Yisrael, that we said that's the level of the neshama that we wanted to impact, the koiches pnimim, kimefurish bekra. That's explicitly written in the Torah. That's what's written in the pasuk openly. Another idea that Moshe Rabbeinu needs to do, it's not explicit in the written Torah, but was revealed in the oral Torah, in other words, in that Maimer Chazal, in the Gemara that we spoke about yesterday, that Moshe Rabbeinu asked, but how can the horn, the level that's higher than the head, that level of the essence that's completely beyond, how will that be raised up? So he says, through raising up the head of the Bnei Yisrael, there'll be also not just the head will be raised up, but also the Keren Yisrael will be raised up as well. If you remember, we had a question that when Moshe Rabbeinu asked, the Gemara says, Bamet Tarum Keren Yisrael. So we said B'chisisa. And we said that's not, the Kisisa is just identical to the question. It doesn't answer the question. It should say Bamet Tarum Keren Yisrael. How does the Keren Yisrael become elevated? It's through the next thing. It's through the level of tzedakah, kaifer, and so on. Why is he saying bichisisa? So he's saying like the expression the Gemara is through kisisa, because through kisisa there will be one more thing. The kisisa will help and bring about that should be tarum keren Yisrael as well. That even the keren will be uplifted. According to this, we can explain what Rashi wrote. If you're coming to raise up their heads in a way of elevation, take from them an atonement for tzedakah. It doesn't say that like the Kolosh Nakosav ish kofer nafshay. We asked also in the beginning of the Maimer, why does the Rashi explain? Take from them a kaifer tzedakah. Why doesn't it say, like the pasuk says, they shall give a kaifer tzedakah, like it says v'nosnu ish kaifer nafshay. So it says it depends what level we're talking about. If we're talking about the roish or we're talking about the keren. The pasuk is talking about kisisa roish b'nei Yisrael. So over there it says ki yitnu. The Gemara mentions Torah Sheba'al Peh, adds another dimension to this. That's keren. And for that, there has to be kach. So that the raising of the head, the kisisa, we said, causes the keren to be raised up as well. It's through Moshe taking from them the kaifer. If you're coming to raise their head, by raising it up, take from them a kaifer to tzedakah. In other words, the emphasis is on Moshe Rabbeinu. In the pasuk where it says yitnu v'nosnu ish kaifer nafshay, so then the emphasis is on what the Yidden do. Kach mehem is being addressed to Moshe Rabbeinu. You, Moshe Rabbeinu, have to take. So the Keren Yisrael to be raised up, that is accomplished through Moshe Rabbeinu's taking, through Moshe Rabbeinu's involvement, because we're talking about a higher level, as the Maimer will continue and explain how that is Moshe Rabbeinu's accomplishment, or Moshe Rabbeinu needs to take. I say, This will be understood by pressing what it says in our parsha, meaning this mimer was said on Parsha Mishpatim, not our parsha, Parsha Struma. That says in Parsha Mishpatim, in Kesef Talves Ami, if you will loan money to my nation, the Isa of Medrash, and the Medrash brings down, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hashem said in Kesef Talves Ami, do not read it Ami, but Imi. Imi bechirik tachas ayin. Read it as it says, an imi with a chirik under the ayin, which means with me. It's explained in the Mamorim, the fact and the reason that the advantage of doing a gmil's chesed, lending someone money, is so great that through that you become imi. Imi b'mchutzasi, you're with me in my enclosure. You are close, you are with me. It's similar to where it says a pasuk in Tanakh, like it says in Isaiah, Ki chesed chafatzti v'lo zevach. I desired kindness and not karbonos. Yidden at the time were trying to maybe atone for themselves with karbonos without doing enough tzedakah, doing enough kindness. So we see the importance of Gmil's Chasad. But if you read the pasuk in a simple sense, the pasuk in a simple sense doesn't really make that much sense. What do you mean? Loi zevach? He doesn't want karbonos. So the Rebbe explains it doesn't mean he doesn't want, but chayfetz. Chayfetz means like pnimis harotzen. Let's see it inside. Hagam shagam karbonos zevach. Hem ritzoynis barach, though also karbonos, which is zevach, their Hashem's will, like it's understood from the fact that there's many commands to offer karbonos and many details, and the whole Chumash Vayikra, or a lot of Chumash Vayikra, is involved in this. So how can you say chesed chafatzti v'loi zevach? So the point over here is, again, in this mimer he's not medayik in that word chayfetz, but at the end of the he does, I forgot. But the main point over here is the word chayfetz over here. Since the idea of karbonos is about ascending and elevating from below to above. That's why it's offered in fire. Fire goes from below to above, and we take the animal and we bring it on the Mizbeach to be consumed and elevated by the fire. But that is not the ultimate goal. The ultimate purpose is there should be the drawing down of the revelation of godliness down here below. Hashem desired to have a home down here below. Therefore, Hashem's will in the karbonos is not in the karbonos on their own. Rather, for the hamshacha that will be afterwards through the nesachim, through the libations, because physically also the nesachim was poured. Pouring shows on drawing down from above to below. The Isa b'Gemara, like it's brought down the Gemara, kol hakoyre kriyash ma b'loy tefillin ki ilu hikriv oilo b'loy mincha v'zevach b'loy nesachim. Whoever reads Krishma but doesn't put on tefillin, it's as if he offered an oila without an accompanying mincha, a meal offering, and he also was makriv a carbon a zevach without the libations, without pouring the wine. The mezem mashma from this is indicated when a person offered a zevach without having the libations, then nesachim, his carbon is not is worthless. It's explained in L'Kutei Torah because the elevation of karbonos is for the sake of the hamshacha that comes down through the libations. And the same thing Krishma and Tefillin. Krishma is limser nafshe be'echad, Shema Yisrael, Shem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, v'yahavta, totally beyond this world. Tefillin, on the other hand, is about drawing down into this world. He's doing mitzvahs with the physical world. So that's the association of Oila b'loy mincha. Mincha is also from the word noch. It's resting. It's coming down. Chois darga, like we always bring in Aramaic in the Gemara, and the Nesachim, like we said, it's about pouring. So therefore, what do we see from this interaction between the Oila and the Nesachim, etc.? So we see that the ultimate needs to be the Hamshacha. Therefore, haratzin b'karbanos hu k'moy chitzonius haratzin. Therefore, the will that of a person doing the karbanos is similar to the external will of a person. What's it mean, external will? Al derech, like for example, we're going to get back to that in a moment. Adam sheroitza linsoya le'ezem makim liknes chayras. A person that wants to travel to a particular place to buy material items wholesale to be able to do his business. That his will, why does he want to travel? It's only for the sake of the profit that he will make afterwards. The same thing, the chitzonis haratzon, the karbanis, the halah of karbanis is only for the sake of the hamshacha that will come down afterwards, in the sachim somewhat, but really in the mitzvahs, and that is the true. The chesed is the ultimate hamshacha. And the innermost will isn't being drawn down below. The pasuk doesn't say that I did not want a carbon, but rather chafatzti shachefetz. The desire indicates pnimius haratzon, the innermost will of Hashem, which chesed hamshach lamata. There should be chesed, which is the drawing down here below. Let's go back to the previous page, a very interesting footnote number 27, last footnote on the page. The Rebbe says that Hashem's will in Karbonis is only, he adds, k'moy chitzonis haratzon al derech, similar to a person that's traveling to buy. But it's not the exact same way. It's not a true chitzonis haratzon. So let's look in footnote 27, avaloi mamish. It's not identical to someone that is traveling somewhere for business, that the whole reason for his travel is only to be able to acquire that particular material. But if he couldn't, he wouldn't travel. The Rebbe says, we could say the explanation why it's only like someone that's traveling. When a person wants to travel to a particular place to purchase material for his business, if he could find the very same items at the very same price where he is located, he wouldn't travel. In other words, there is no inherent interest and will in the travel whatsoever. It's completely because of the schoira that he will get. As opposed to in the case that we're talking about, the rotzen of karbonis versus the rotzen of chesed. Rotzen ha'elyon hu, Hashem's will of above is shamshacha shaydei nesachim tiyai de halal de karbonis. Hashem wanted that the hamshacha through nesachim, and the same thing, the hamshacha of the chesed down here below, should be in that type of way of going through the karbonis. There was no, Hashem had no intention and no interest in any shortcuts. If he could have the hamshacha without the halah, he would have it. Obviously, Hashem could have the hamshacha without the halah if he wants. Hashem wanted that the hamshacha should come about through the halah. The fact that the hamshacha comes about only through the halah of the karbanis, because that is his true inner will and that's his true desire. So therefore, even the halah of karbanis, though it's not the ultimate will like the hamshacha of the chesed or the hamshacha of the nesachim, but still in all, that is part of what Hashem wanted and his inner will as well. Therefore, it's not exactly chitzonius haratzon. It's not exactly the external will. But on the other hand, it's not the true chayfetz, because the true chayfetz is in chesed. Okay, let's go back to the fourth page, the page down, second paragraph. Well, Hoysef, and to add to this, the Pashtus Lashon HaKosuf, from the simple expression of the pasuk, Ki chesed chafatzli, I desired kindness, v'loi zevach, but I did not desire a carbon. Mashma, it seems to indicate shemedaber gam bezevach im nesachim, that he's also speaking about a carbon along with the libations. In other words, when it says, I did not desire zevach, it doesn't just mean I did not desire just the carbon alone without the libation that we said brings down here below, but I did not desire not just the carbon, but I also did not desire the nesachim. He still says, I desired kindness and not zevach. How come? Seemingly you have the hamshacha mil. So kikiv and shanesachim im tfeilin la zevach, since the nesachim are ancillary to the karbonas, gam hamshacha shaydei nesachim eina ka hamshacha shaydei chesed. So also the hamshacha that comes about through the libations is not like the hamshacha that comes about through kindness. It's still a different type of hamshacha. So in other words, even though we said before that the nesachim bring down the hamshacha from above to below, but it's still part of the general idea of karbonis. And being that it's part of the general idea of karbonis, it's not the ultimate drawing down from above to below. But chesed is the ultimate thing. And we bring a raya from Maimer Chazal that actually proves this, because by Eli, it says that the kapara that his children needed and so on would not be niskaper through zevach and mincha, but Torah and Gemil's chasadim would bring down the kapara. So we see that there is something more than the carbon and the nesachim and the mincha and so on. Let's see it inside. Third line from the top of the paragraph, like it's also obvious and proven from this Maimer Chazal that's brought down by Mara. On the pasuk that says, if it will be forgiven and atoned for the sin of Beis Eli, with karbonas and with a mincha meal offering. So, in other words, Hashem swore and said, the house of Eli will not be forgiven for whatever sins that they committed with karbonas, and not even a mincha as well, not even a meal offering. So the Chazal darshan from it, bezevach u'mincha eina miskaper. When it comes to a carbon, it comes to even a mincha meal offering, which is all hamshachim al ma'ila mata, because the meal offering we said is hamshachim al ma'ila mata, and the carbon also includes the nisachim, which is hamshachim al ma'ila mata. That is eina miskaper. That's not enough to be able to bring about a kapara for the house of Eli. Avu miskaper b'toyduk mas chasadim. The Chazal say there is atonement